Hey y'all, this is Trish with Dishing with Trish on relationships. Now, the last time we were together, we talked about limerence. Limerence, that feeling of being in love and how everything is just marvelous and oh, you're in heaven. And how limerence is going to fade. No matter how perfect the person is that you finally get a commitment with. That feeling of massively being in love where your IQ drops about 25 points. You know. Henry used to always miss his exit when we were talking on the phone when we first started dating. Anyway, that feeling is going to cool. It just does. That's the way the world works. So, on that note, I have always wanted somebody to do a research study that compares that feeling of limerence and how a person might be apt to fall in love, get married, feel the limerence fade, think, oh my God, I made a mistake. This must not be the one. Or something's happened. I've fallen out of love with you. And then they ditch number one and they see the next new shiny thing over there and they feel drawn to it. They get limerent about it. You know, they find another partner that they fall madly in love with. They hook up with them, and then down the road, the limerence fades again. So they get rid of number two, and they go looking for number three, and so forth and so on, ad infinitum, because that's just the way the world works. To me, that looks like addiction. So I've wanted someone to do a research study about limerence and prove that people can be limerent addicted. You know, they get addicted to that feeling of being in love because it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Be a good research study if anybody is so inclined. I sure am not, because they use words like data. That's a 4-letter word in my book. Data. And all kinds of mathematics, so it's not for me. But anyway, back to limerence. Yes, it's going to fade. But does that mean you're never going to be attracted to your partner again? No. It doesn't mean that. It becomes kind of cyclical. And you will fall in love with your partner again over things you would have never imagined. Like how they remembered to put the cream on the baby's bottom when they changed them, instead of just changing them. That can warm your heart and make you all soupy inside. Just dozens of things. Now, you will never be as highly limerent with your partner again as you were in the very beginning. So, let's talk about the very beginning then. I told you, I think, in the last video that people in other cultures will even say, when you say, I'm so in love, they'll say, oh man, I hate it for you. Because they realize that you are a little addled during that time. And it's not your best cognitive effort that's being put forth in your work and your driving and what have you. In our culture, we have been raised on Disney princesses who wait for their prince to come, and eventually he does, and they ride off into the sunset. Even in the movies where, you know, guy meets girl, guy loses girl, guy gets girl back again, and they live happily ever after. I think I just summed up every Hallmark movie. But they never, you know, show us the part where the limerence cools, because that's not entertaining. And so a lot of people aren't aware that they need to expect this. To my students, I always described it as, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where love stops being a condition that you accidentally caught or something you fell into, and starts becoming something you do It starts becoming a verb that you get up every day and you choose to do for your partner. So let's talk about expectations in America. We are one of the last places on the planet that choose a partner for life based on love, based on the Disney They Lived Happily Ever After. Other places fall in love, yeah, but it may not have anything to do with their marriage. Their marriage is generally something about picking a good partner for life, very level-headed, very even-keeled, someone who has much the same values as you. And a lot of times, because they become a couple and start working together toward having a good life, they find that they fall in love too. It's kind of a nice arrangement. But when you start with expectations up here of happily ever after, Disney princes and princesses, then you're going to be disappointed when the limerence fails. So we need to do a better job of educating young people to the fact that that feeling will fade and come and go as you live your life, and you shouldn't base choosing your partner on that want you, got to have you sort of thing. Sure, it's great if you feel that way about your partner, but don't be surprised if it fades, and then do your best to get it to come back. All right? Does that make sense? Here's hoping. Thanks. See you next time.